At this stage, after decades of design experiments, risky ideas, and time-based mechanics, difficulty in video games is very much a conscious decision. Some people love it, and some franchises are built on challenge, but once you've factored in the size of how many people could play your product, it can be an all-out negative, adding in an annoying roadblock to gameplay out of nowhere. With hard video games as a thing dividing rooms more than ever, I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are 9 truly unforgiving levels in recent video games. Number 9, the virus sequence, Nier Automata. For as much as Nier was a uniquely framed exploration of what it means to be human, one of the most outdated and terribly implemented sections comes during Route C, where character 2B has to undergo the early 2010 gamer's favorite, a wounded sequence. With your vision hampered as a virus slowly takes over, you're not only limping around for a good 20 minutes, but have a countdown timer applied. 0 checkpoints no matter how far you stagger before the end, all your controls other than movement being disabled, and tons of enemies smashing you into the ground every few seconds. There's also no indication as to which path you should take through the environment, other than a map marker in the distance, which, as many quickly discovered, means you could easily fall into ravines and chasms. The lack of control meaning you can't get out as another enemy comes in and kills you instead. Number 8, the ocean roars again, Nioh. You know what goes really well with ancient samurais and feudal Japan? Weapon-grade blobs that do stupid amounts of damage and bodies of instant death-bringing water. Nothing says I'm a warrior capable of felling an island full of evil like backstepping off a ledge into the brink. Such was the design ethos behind the Ocean Roars Again, an area comprised entirely of small walkways and isolated platforms, forever surrounded by instant-killing water and possessed death blobs called the Umibozu. Not only do you have to have expert footwork, but most of your usual combat tactics don't even apply, as any regular space allocation is simply not there. Try to employ many of the same Souls-esque butt-poking tactics that got you through otherwise, and you'll just fall off the edge. The Bozu themselves are constantly closing you down too, forcing escape routes and traversal paths that almost always end with you going for a dip. It is agony. Number 7, the Takeover. Hotline Miami 2, wrong number. Carrying on difficulty-wise from where the first game left off, Hotline Miami 2 shifts gears away from the melee-focused original, bringing in larger, longer levels that force you to use stop-and-pop cover tactics and firearms instead of just smashing heads with melee weapons. That is until you reach Takeover, where mob boss the Sun decides to clear out a plaza full of goons with nothing more than his katana. Surviving will require you to memorize each enemy's placement, reacting on the fly as AI sees goons trying different flanking tactics, occasionally taking you out from off-screen. Yep, because of how Hotline Miami 2 is coded, enemies can and will get the drop on you from outside anywhere you could have actually seen, simply because the camera is either locked to your person or can only be moved slightly in any direction. You can pick up rifles and other weapons to ease the burden and catch stray enemies with a sprayed arc of lead, but they'll always run out of ammo in seconds. You're then back to gutting people who are firing 20 instant death rounds a second with the knife you brought to a gunfight. Number 6, the Line, Furi. Yes, we're talking about levels for this list, but Furi is a boss rush game where the levels are the bosses. However you split it, what the game bakers crafted is a damn fine overlooked gem that any action fan should play. The Line's area and subsequent fight then pushes you to the brink of sanity by filling the screen with endless amounts of energy orbs, beams, and obstacles. Backed by a thunderous synthwave score and giving you precious fractions of a second to regain your composure, this is the first time you'll really be confronted with game design that reduces you to the same size as other projectiles. The final round in particular is like trying to navigate a snowstorm of pure death, as the pumping soundtrack and the Line's taunts keep you invested. You will still die a hell of a lot to what feels like an overwhelming amount of orbs that just couldn't be dodged until you finally just squeeze through. Number 5, Ninja Level 6, Trials Fusion. Though it's faded away thanks to Trials Rising being a bit naff, Trials used to be popular, easy access, but ludicrously hard to master one more try style titles. It's the sort of franchise where everyone's played at least one. Such is the beauty of inviting physics-based sets of isolated levels, and the harsh reminder that nothing less than dedication over time will see you through. With that in mind, Fusion's ninja set is very much one of the latter, aiming to literally be a solid wall in the way of your progression. Opening with a 90-degree climb you'll have to figure out a way up, things only get more obfuscating from then on in, asking you to leap between and land on some stupidly tiny outcrops of the environment. Being Trials is entirely momentum-based, nothing less than complete mastery of your chosen rider's weight distribution will suffice. Number 4, The Devil, Cuphead. Another boss rush title, Cuphead's retro charms sink their teeth in deep, though even the most adorable rubber hose animated arms can't mask how annoyingly unfair this final fight can be. Though visually stunning and the culmination of all your efforts, battling the devil literally comes down to many attacks that are completely random in their direction, ensuring that making it through comes down to on-the-fly improvisation and a bit of luck. Even when you've got the basics down and have memorized each phase, it's not a short battle either. The average Cuphead duel, once you know what's coming, will last around 2 minutes or less. The devil goes for a solid 4 minutes of constant projectile dodging, staying on your toes, leaping from platform to platform, and keeping your finger on the fire button the whole time. Intensely gratifying once you're on the other side. It's a shame that for a game otherwise built on memorizing patterns and looking for openings, perhaps intentionally beating the devil can come down to a roll of the dice. Number 3, Archdragon Peak, Dark Souls 3. Following Dark Souls 2 being a bit underwhelming, it was like From Software took it upon themselves to remind everyone why they're such a masterful studio, and why the Souls series is the bastion of difficulty across the industry. Thankfully, they more than succeeded with the mighty Dark Souls 3. As optional area, Archdragon Peak was set aside to test those who could have taken down Ornstein and Smaug before breakfast. Populated by some of the most annoying and overpowered enemies in the game, giant elongated walking demon snakes with tremendous reach and wide damage arcs, it's all building to a showdown against the Nameless King. Widely regarded as the best Souls boss this side of Artorias, Old Nameless has spectacle and punishing moves in equal measure, making him a fitting end to such a brutally effective location. Number 2, a genocide run, Undertale. Don't be put off by its primitive exterior. Undertale is always watching, always taking note of your various choices, leading to a number of different runs that you can take across the game, alongside some now optional boss fights. One is a kill-all genocide run, one of the hardest ways to get through the game thanks to how much more challenging each boss becomes. Sans, the charming, pun-happy skeleton who most of us befriended, turns into your worst nightmare. Why? Because along your journey, your endless slaughter will have killed everyone in Sans' hometown, his friends, and even his brother Papyrus. This leads to the hardest boss fight in the game, one that sees you piloting your tiny heart icon against a barrage of claustrophobic screen clutter, all zeroing in faster than ever. Sans puts up one hell of a fight, almost like developer Toby Fox was saying, okay look, if you really want to kill everyone, it won't be as easy as you think. Well, message received. And number 1, literally every level in 1001 Spikes. Feeling like the natural endpoint to the conversation Super Meat Boy started as to how we like our video games, 1001 Spikes is built to push your buttons. It caught on in a big way with Twitch streamers and YouTubers, as we all collectively discovered the delight of watching someone suffer a hard video game when it's not you. Literally take any screen from this expert platformer though, and you'll see a pulsating mass of instant annoyance. It's retracting spikes designed to kick all but the staunchest gamers back to the start. It would be parodic if not for some welcome instant restarts, and how controlling a Ban Hawkins is actually supremely responsive, ensuring that if you do take 1001 Spikes seriously, you can have something of a good time. Probably. And those are just 9 picks for some unforgiving levels in recent video games. Let me know your own favorites down in the comments below, and please subscribe to the WhatCulture Gaming Podcast. For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com, and I'll catch you soon.